How's it going? Dave from Comic Book Investments. In this video, we are going to look at 5 comic books that have been dropping in price, some by even over 50%. And then I'll break down each one and explain why they're dropping, and maybe it's a good time to buy them now. Maybe they've hit an all-time low, or maybe you should wait because they're going to continue to drop. And also at the end of this, I like to show a follow-up to one that I've done previously to see kind of where it's at. Has it been raising in price or has it been going down? So let's look at the first one right now. All right, we got Hero for Hire #1. This is the first appearance of Luke Cage. A 9.0 peaked back in October for $19.20, and now it currently sells for $14.50. That is down 24%. An 8.0 peaked in September for $1,100, now currently sells for $9.29. That is down 16%. And a 6.5 peaked in June for $690. Now that currently sells for $500. That is down 28%. And if you look at the top graph, you can kind of see that it like went up during the comic boom and it's kind of a little bit shaky. So this book is not down as quite as much as other ones, but I see still a little bit of dipping. I still think it'll dip a little more, but I think we're nearing the bottom for this particular key. All right, moving on. We got Hulk $4.49. This is the first appearance of the Thunderbolts. And a 9.8 sold back in May for $11.50. Now that currently sells for $6.99. That is down 39%. A 9.6 peaked in May for $5.30. Now sells for $4.05. That is down 24%. And a 9.4 peaked in April for $3.40. Now currently sells for $227. That is down 33%. And if you look at the graph here, you can see a straight up spike due to the comic book boom that happened around spring, early summer, and it has continued to drop. This book has been speculated on for so long, with the Thunderbolts maybe coming to some kind of MCU TV show, something, and it's not really, I haven't seen anything that suggests that it's actually gonna happen. Most of it's just rumor and speculation at this point, and that's why it's dropping. All right, moving on. We got Amazing Fantasy 15. This, of course, is not the original one. This is the first appearance of Amadeus Cho. This, of course, was another iteration of the Hulk. A 9.8 sold in September for $2,272. Now currently sits at $1,750. A 9.6 sold in September for a peak price of $785. Now currently sells for $600. And then 9.4 peaked in October for $500. Now sits about $295. That's down 41%. Yeah, if you look up at the graph, you can see that it's went up, 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 and then it's kind of dropping. The reason for this spike was probably there's a lot of speculation that Amadeus Cho was going to be in the MCU. Whether it'll happen, maybe, maybe not, but it looks like it's going to drop, and I think it's going to continue to drop. All right, next we got Hawkman #4. This is the first appearance of Zatanna. And a 7.0 peaked in April for $22.99, now currently sits at $1,300. A 5.5 peaked in March for $1,500. Now that sells for $745. That is down 50%. And a 4.0 sold in August for $855. That currently sells for $690. That's down 19%. And as you can see up in the graph, it just went up and then it's coming back down. I mean, this went up with the comic boom. It also got a lot of hype due to that they think there's going to be a Justice League Dark, and so they thought that character would show up in there. That hasn't panned out, so that's why it's dropping. All right, moving on. We got Stray Dogs #1. This is a relatively new comic book, so there's not too much of history with this, but a 9.8 back in June sold for $410. Now that one has currently sold for $165. Yes, $165, CGC 9.8. That is down 60%. A 9.6 back in August sold for $178. That is down currently to $100. That is down 44%. And a 9.4 back in August sold for $95. Now sells for around $88. That's down 7%. This happens a lot with comic books. They come out, they're super, super hot. People want them, they send them off to CGC, they get them back in, and then they spike really, really high, and then supply and demand. The demand isn't no longer there, and there's a ton of people with 9.8s, 9.6s, 9.4s all over the place, and boom, drops in price. All right, Now it's time for the update. But before I do, if you haven't subscribed already, think about subscribing. That helps out this channel. All right, on to the last one, the updates. We are going to look at Marvel Superhero Secret Wars #1, and let's see how this one is doing. All right, so this one I do a little differently. This I take the average of the last month and compare it to the average of the currently. So in November, for the full month of November, it averaged $474 for a 9.8. Now that average is $512. That is up 8%. A 9.6 in November averaged $157. Now that currently averages $173. That is up 10%. And a 9.4 back in November averaged $120. Now it currently sits at $110. So that's down 10%. If you look at the graph up there, you can see that it's went way down and now it's slowly ticking back up. I think this might be close to the bottom. It's something worth watching, but it's not going to spike way up. So even if you waited a couple months to see what would happen, I don't think it's going to drastically go up. So I think you're fine in waiting a little bit if you want to pick up this book. All right, that's it for me today. Have a great day.